Antonini? No? Antonini. All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're doing another breakdown with my friend Marshall Mind, a fight between Antonina Shevchenko and Andrea Lee. In the fight, she was able to win second round with a traditional triangle, but it was the way she set up the triangle from side control to crucifix to triangle. So hope you guys enjoy and be ready to check it out. All right, guys, so here we are in side control. So after Andrea threw Antonina, they landed in side control. And what happened, what prevented Antonina from coming up was actually a traditional whizzer. She had tossed her with like a haragoshi hip toss. This whizzer is very strong. Wrestlers use it to pin their opponent. And at the same time, she was using her knee to stuff the arm on the opposite side, which I'm going to show right now on the other side. But let's just focus on this side. So as she stuffed this arm, this whizzer was allowing the pressure to be forward. She can pepper her with a few punches. And as she came up, she loosened that whizzer, sat on the hip, and then immediately controlled the opposite arm, therefore isolating this shoulder to go into the triangle. Okay, so now let me show you on the opposite side what was happening. So we'll go that way. So same thing. So you could see on this side, as the pressure was applied, the knee was being used to pin the arm. And once you hop over, then you have that crucifix. Then you can really isolate the arm and the whizzer, and you can even control the opponent. And right here, actually, I can pretty much pepper her, which is what you saw, a lot of punches in this crucifix position. But then when she saw that wasn't doing a lot of damage, she set her up by falling all the way on her hip and coming up to this position. From here, she pulls the back of the head and starts working the triangle, and then immediately falls to the triangle here. Now, here there's a lot of issues, right? She couldn't finish right away, and this is kind of where we are going to explain and break down some of the positions.
All right, so Professor, after she locked in that triangle, can you demonstrate a few ways that Andrea Lee could have finished that triangle? Because that was the longest triangle I think I've ever seen in a fight. So can you show us a few things that she could have done to end that triangle quick? Because it was locked in.
Okay, so for that triangle, there's a lot of reasons I feel like maybe she didn't finish was when you get the adrenaline dump, it's the second round, you're excited and you get a triangle. This happens a lot in jiu-jitsu matches, happens a lot in MMA. She had a perfect angle, her feet were crossed. Okay, I'm gonna try to stay open just to relieve pressure for you. But a lot of times fighters get so excited and they squeeze their legs and they have so many options, right? When I say so many, you're looking at 5, 8 options. And she's kind of trying a little bit of all of them. She never commits to one. And that's kind of why she falls into this funk until she finally finishes and focuses on the arm. So some of the things she could have done. Number one, she already had a great angle, so I wouldn't really focus so much on the angle. Right? What could have helped is maybe underhooking this leg. So I'm just gonna go a little bit hard just so you could see, you could tap when you feel that. By underhooking the leg, I don't have to be flexible with this leg. Now right now I'm resting my left leg on the mat just to talk, but I never wanna do that when I adjust. I actually wanna adjust off the hip. So when I adjust off the hip, I'm able to come and connect. Even if I can't reach, I just pretend Marshall has a really big neck and I have really short legs. Look, I just put my heel on top of my foot and I pull down, and I still get the same pressure because I'm blocking carotid on this side, and his arm is blocking carotid on the other side. So one way is to angle. She did try to go for this number here. This works too, but I like the angle better on the leg because then I can start focusing on a traditional triangle this way. Isolate the hips and come up. She didn't want to do that risk, and that's fine. Another option she could have done is the traditional the traditional triangle is doing the same thing, coming across, and you pinch the knees together, you increase the hip range, and then you pull the back of the head. And so when I do all those three things together, squeeze, hips, and head, you get that that triangle a lot faster. Okay? Some other options, she could have turned her head towards the inside of her thigh and pulled down too to get that number there. That's a very good option. Some other things, because of the MMA gloves, maybe this is why she didn't do it, but it's another option. I can isolate his elbow and then go for the wrist lock and pull down this way. And at one point, she put her arm behind like this. Yeah, when they do this, they're still in the triangle. Doesn't mean they're gonna get choked, but they're still in the triangle. So again, some things that she was like this, and she even did this number real quick. She like really blocked here. Like she did not want, and a lot of people do this even in jiu-jitsu matches because it stalls out, but actually there's a lot of things you can do here. Number one, you can actually triangle the other way. I triangle the other way and I squeeze and it turns into a shoulder lock. I could turn his head also and try to squeeze back to the triangle is one way because it starts hitting the trachea choke. And then finally, one of my favorites is when they close their hand like this and they're wrapping. You still have the triangle, but now what I do is instead of a triangle, I cross my legs, I grip behind underneath my calves, and now I extend my legs and pull, and it turns into a shoulder lock. And then finally, I wouldn't like this option, but it's something you can do, is I can stuff the head and start working the omoplata from here. Whether I sweep, finish, I could come up, start punching, making sure I don't hit behind the head, and finish the shoulder lock. And then finally, what she ended up doing was a traditional arm bar. She uses the arm to trap. So she picks up her hips. Look, I grab the arm and I pull underneath to get the arm bar. Or as the way she did it, she starts trapping this way underneath her arm and she starts moving it that way to get the arm bar. So those were, I lost count, but those were a lot of options of what she could have done. Another thing I didn't mention, she could have increased her hips and swept her and landed back on mount. And actually, there's more options here real quick. More options. When they have the triangle, she can also straight arm lock this arm. So I can start straight arm locking that arm. I can also Kimura. You don't see this a lot, but it's another option. And then finally, the sweep I'm talking about is I bump up and I start coming up here to sweep. So a lot of options from there that she could have done. Hats off to her. She still got the finish when she went back and refocused on the armbar. But the problem with the triangles is there's so many things you can do. By hooking that leg, you also prevent them from picking you up and slamming you. So it's a good way to kind of prevent them from being really explosive and strong.
Okay, can you actually go over which leg you want to hook when you're in the triangle? Because this is something I forget all the time.
Yeah.
So can you go over which leg you want to hook and also why?
Okay, perfect. So you always want to hook the leg on the same side of the leg that's turning. So my right leg is turning, so I'm pivoting to my right, so I want to hook that leg. One, it creates the angle. Two, it hooks and stabilizes the base. So if I go this way, if I come here, I want to go the opposite side and hook this leg and come down this way. So it's always the same side of the turning of my angle, right? So I always say it's a triangle. I have to angle. I can't, some people can get away with their flexibility. I'm not very flexible, as you can see. So I have to really turn, pinch down, pinch my knees, and underhook the leg.
Now the question is, if you find yourself in a fully locked in triangle, right? What else could you do to get out of it? Or is that, especially when you're facing someone, well, let's just say Antonina, what are a few things that she could have done that she wasn't doing to escape that triangle?
Yeah. So now we're gonna look at the triangle escapes. So Marshall's gonna put me in a triangle. The first thing I wanna do as he closes up the triangle is prevention. Put my hands together, posture, stay really nice and tight, but make sure that I don't let him control the arm and bring it across. And as I'm posturing, I'm gonna step out to the side so he doesn't underhook my leg, and this hand's gonna punch through. And so now I rework the guard, inside his guard, which is a challenge, but it's a better place than being in a triangle. Another option from there is doing the same exact thing, but now I'm going outside so I can double underhook pass. It's a very common pass, really works really well. Some other options, maybe it's too late, maybe put the arm across, he has the triangle locked up. I'm gonna grab that same side and kill his angle. I don't want him to angle. My left knee's gonna come up to the rib cage. I'm gonna posture back, and same thing as before. I'm punching through and in, or I'm bringing my hand out, or I'm pushing in and bringing my knee across to pass the guard, okay? Another option, I can bait him for the omoplata. Sometimes this works, right? I go here, he goes omoplata. As he does it, I post, hop over to side control. another option, right, that we can use. Let's say I'm in his triangle and I'm a bigger guy, right? When I say bigger, maybe I'm over 180, 190 plus, and I have size advantage. Then I can come across, this is probably not an ideal option for Antonina because she's a little bit smaller, but this is just something you can do. I come across and I stack them and go all the way to side control. And then finally, some last minute desperate options. This is like, these other options didn't work. I gotta be fast. Maybe there's a lot of sweat. There's a few seconds on the round clock. Then I can start picking him up, throwing my legs over, sneaking out the back, and then turning it into, let's say, a heel hook or some other type of leg lock. And then finally, a real desperate option. I'm in the triangle. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna dart forward and bear crawl really hard, making it ugly on his neck where he opens up that position, and then I'm able to come up on top. So some options to escape. I like to prioritize them in that order. The safest, more technical, all the way to the more desperate, explosive ones for the end.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Guys, if you have any questions, post them on the comments. We'll do our best to answer them. Hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you for watching.
Os.